Super excited to have you guys all in here. I'm going to show you how to build and scale an Amazon brand that pays you an extra 5 to 10K a month at least. At least, guys. I'm going to tell you all about my story, how I've made over 50 million in sales on Amazon, and we're going to get going. I'm super excited to get going with you guys. I'm going to show you today how to build an Amazon brand that pays you an extra 5 to 10K a month at least. At least, guys. All right, guys. So if you guys stay to the very, very end, I'm going to show you tons of things worth thousands of dollars. But first, I'm going to show you how to pick a product that actually sells. I'm going to show you how to get it made and shipped without touching anything, without having to store anything, and without having to ship anything yourself. And also, the most important thing, guys, the most important thing about selling on Amazon is how to get your product onto page 1. So, also, we're going to show you how to build a brand, guys. I built a brand over $50 million, and I had a lot of big players in my space, but I knew how to position myself on that page 1. So if you guys stay with me to the end, an hour, if you guys stay with me for an hour, I'm going to show you how to pick a product that actually sells, how to get it made and shipped without touching it yourself, and how to get it to page 1 so you are achieving all of the sales that comes with being on page 1. And that's how I built a brand to over $50 million. So, guys, the thing that stops a lot of people is a lot of people think you got to quit your job to start something like this. And that's completely false. A lot of people think that you're going to have a garage filled with products, and that's also false. You don't have to store your products. You don't have to ship your products. All the heavy lifting is done for us. Guys, I had a $50 million business, and I barely touched anything on my end. So I'm going to show you guys all about that. And you guys don't need any prior experience selling online either. I actually prefer you not having any prior experience because I like to teach people the right way. There's so much fluff out there, guys, and I'm going to show you how I got into it. I'm going to show you how I made over $50 million on Amazon. And it's not from YouTube or anything like that. I worked for a company that was doing it correctly for 5 years, and then I implemented after, and we're going to go into that later. A lot of people are scared too. They think they got to be on camera. And that's the beautiful thing. I actually, surprisingly now, I'm okay with it, but I used to hate being on camera. And you don't need to build your own audience because guess what, guys? Amazon is the audience. Amazon's the audience. So who am I, guys? Why are you guys listening to a tattooed man over here in Utah? Why are you guys listening to me? So I want you guys to know who here is excited. I want you guys to kind of hear my story in a little bit, but also there's 2 kinds of people. And so this is going to be perfect for anybody that has a job that does pretty well, but wants a secondary income. It's going to be perfect for you. And also, if you have already tried something online and it left you owning nothing, this is also going to be perfect for you. So first, we're going to do a quick quiz. Who's ready for a quick quiz? This is going to be a true or false quiz. I want to know who's in here, who's ready to go. First question, is Amazon too saturated in 2026 to start a new product? This is true, or I want you to put all in the chat if this is false. Is 2026 too saturated on Amazon to be successful? I want everybody to know right here, true or false, true or false, true or false. False, false, false. False, false. Good. All right, guys. Well, it is actually false because the last month, I've had 5 of my students cross over $20,000 a month with one product. Let's have another question. Do you guys need to quit your job in order to build a proper business online on Amazon? This is one of my favorites. Do you need to quit your job? Let's hear it in the chat. True or false? The answer is false. This is actually the beautiful thing about Amazon. Amazon stores your products. They ship your products. They do the customer service for your products. And so we don't need to do any of this. You could be at your full-time job, just checking your Amazon seller account, seeing the sales. And guys, I've had over 50 people in my program leave their 9-to-5. That's the goal, eventually. But you don't need to. Next question. Do you need experience selling online before you can start this? True or false? True or false? Let's see it in the chats here, guys. I want everybody to be working with me. I swear, stick with me to the end, and I'm going to show you how to pick a product. I'm actually going to find a product with you that I would consider selling now. But to those who had answered false, 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 false. And guys, who's this? Well, if you're in here, buddy, I'm sorry to use this picture of you, but this is Justin. He had no prior experience. He had a full-time job, and now he's actually doing $30,000 a month with one product on Amazon, and it only took him 3 months doing so. So, what are we going to do for the next hour, guys? Whitney, I see you're in Utah. I'm in Utah as well. Nice to have you in here. Here's the map for the next hour. Why most people pick the wrong vehicle. There's a lot of things out there, guys. A lot of people get clouded, and I'm going to tell you why I got into this. I'm going to give you the whole spiel. But if you guys stick with me to the end for the next hour, I'm going to give you my 5-point checklist that we use in 2026 to make sure the product is still going to sell and still make over $10,000 a month on Amazon. And also the system that runs it on 5 hours a week. Guys, even after owning a $50 million a year business, I didn't work all that much. Amazon handled all the heavy lifting for me. It's a beautiful, beautiful business, and that's why they sell for 5 to 10x, because it's, it's so hands-off. But also, I'm going to show you how to work with me directly if you decide to do so. But at the end, I'm still going to give you and show you how to find a product, my 5-point criteria checklist, and a bunch of other stuff. I'm also going to be at the very end to answer questions for a while, for as long as you guys stay on with me. So stay on to the end. I'm going to answer everybody's questions. I'm going to try to get through everything, and it's going to be a good time. At the very end, you're going to have the product criteria checklist, page 1 ranking guide. This is very important. This is how to get your product to page 1. And again, that's why most people fail on Amazon, because they're on page 20 for whatever they're selling, and you only buy what's on page 1. So I'm going to show you the system tonight. Most people will do nothing with it. Some people will do something with it. I actually had a live 2 weeks ago, and I already heard somebody say that they have already found a product and they're already getting started. But first, I'm going to go over my story, guys. Why are you talking to this tattooed guy? And how did I get into this? How did I build a $50 million a year business? Well, guys, everything is because of the first job I ever got. 16 years ago, I got this job called Alpatronics. They were doing $20 million a year in California. That's where I'm from. It was the first job I ever got. I was just first a warehouse worker, and then I was working through the warehouse, sending stuff to Amazon, and I was like, wow, why are these people sending stuff to Amazon? And then I found out that 60% of everything you buy on Amazon doesn't come from Amazon, it comes from a small business owner like myself. And that blew my mind. That gave me the light bulb. And I was like, are you kidding me? Everybody has all of this credibility with Amazon, but Amazon isn't the one selling the products. Small business owners are selling the products. Amazon's the one that is, the credibility behind it. And it blew my mind. So I worked for this company for 5 years for minimum wage. And I had a plan. I had an agenda. I always wanted to work in every department they had to then figure out how they started and ran their business. Because there was 2 guys in their 30s that were millionaires. And I was, 16-year-old kid. And I was like, I want to learn this. So that's exactly what I did. And so, as I said, I got a job at a company that was doing $20 million a year on Amazon. I was a kid in a warehouse. I had no idea what I was walking into. And then after working for them for 5 years, I saw how they picked their products. I saw how they built their listings and their SEO. And then most importantly, guys, once I got in their customer service department, I saw how they got thousands of reviews. And also the other most important part, once I got in their marketing department, I saw how they got all of their products in only 8 days. So about 1 week. I saw how they brought a new product and put it on page 1 for their main keywords. And that is huge. And it's still the same system I've been using 16 years from now. And this is how I built a $50 million a year business, because every time you search for my company, I was on page 1. And so, guys, I built a private label brand for 8 years, got it to over $50 million. In 2023, sold it. And ever since selling in 2023, I like semi-retired, but I'm still pretty young. And so I wanted to still do something with my time. And so now I teach people step by step, one by one, basically people looking over my shoulder, me building their business with them. And I have 200 people doing 6 and 7 figures, guys. This is a blueprint that I use every single time. And so I'm going to basically give you guys a blueprint today. And I started doing this because there's so much bullshit out there with courses and things like that, guys. And that's why I kind of have a cool story, because I didn't learn from a course. I learned from a company doing it successfully. I learned from somebody that was actually in the trenches, and then I started doing it myself. And if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. And even the last month, I've had over 5 students start with me from scratch, and they're already at $20,000 per month. So this stuff is incredible. I want to help more people build and scale, their Amazon business. But that's my goal. And right now I want to figure out your guys' goal. So here's why I think private label business is still one of the best businesses in 2026. Even though that's all I know, the private label brand is something that pays you every single month from the day that the product goes live. And guys, a product goes live and a lot of people are on page 20 for what they're selling. But me, in 8 days, I get my product to page 1. And guys, if you've ever bought something on Amazon, you're only going to buy what's on page 1. So many people have came to me, they're like, Kyle, I didn't make it on Amazon. And I'm like, well, what page were you on your keywords? They're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, there you go. It's a science. We have science behind this. And this is why I've done what I've done. This is why my students do what they do. And guys, a private label brand becomes something somebody wants to buy. I look for stuff out there that is doing a certain revenue per month, and I'm going to show you guys that live today. We have software that shows us what products are doing what monthly revenue, and that's huge because we're not just throwing something at the wall to see if it sticks. And so also, beautiful thing is it runs without us shipping and, doing all the heavy lifting on our own. I wake up a lot of times and in the morning, I already have a couple $1,000s of sales that before I even wake up and brush my teeth. It's amazing. So the question is, guys, not whether if it works, but whether if you guys are going to get into it yourself. There's so many different vehicles out there. Like I said, you can get into day trading and crypto. And, guys, I dabble in that, whatever. But a lot of times you're kind of gambling in a sense. You can get into drop shipping. But drop shipping's against Amazon's terms of service. It's illegal on Amazon. It's not allowed anymore. They used to allow it, but my business model is been in the business model for the longest time in Amazon. I've been in it for 16 years. Dropshipping, not the best. You could do retail and online arbitrage. A lot of people do this, but guys, margins are very small. So on Amazon private label, I have 50% margins in my business. So these are business models that work. Wholesale is also another business model on Amazon that works. However, I do not like this business model. Why? Because let's say you're going to sell a bar of Dove soap. You're going to sell it with 300 other people, and you're going to be constantly competing with 300 people selling the same product. Now, if you do a private label, you own the listing. Nobody can sell your product but you. So that's why I love it, because I'm not competing with anybody. Amazon private label, we own the listing ourselves. We own the price point ourselves. So like I said earlier, if you're doing wholesale business model and you're selling soap, if somebody drops the price, then you lose the buy box and they get the buy box. What does that mean? Well, your constant margins are going down. Now in private label, we own the listing, we own the price points. And so I make sure I have 40 to 55% margins after Amazon takes out their fees. Because yeah, there's fees for storing our products, shipping our products and all that stuff, but I'm okay with that. And here's a student of mine doing $60,000 a month selling her own beach bag. She's selling a beach bag and she's doing $60K a month. She actually went to high school with me and now she's quit her job and she's doing it full time. So yes, I might be biased about the whole private label thing, but I actually did it. I became successful from it. I thought I wasn't going to make it in life after, high school, but Amazon and business changed my life. And take it for not only me, but here's Justin. Justin wanted to create a brand around golf. That's what he was interested in. Justin was interested in golf. And I like to create brands around whatever the other person is interested in. So I said, hey man, if you're interested in golf, let's create a brand around golf. And so what did we do? We jumped in the golf niche. We found a product that was kind of lacking in some areas. And then we wrote down those areas the product was lacking in. And we went to find a manufacturer and said, fix this, this, and this on my product because I can see that my competitors are having those issues. And so Justin has been with me for only 1 month. He's doing 12 grand a month on Amazon. And, it's incredible. Here's another student of mine, Devin. And Devin was already selling on Amazon, but he was getting nowhere. Why? Because again, Devin didn't know what number page he was on for his product. So if you're selling, for instance, a backpack cooler and you go on Amazon and type in backpack cooler, there's 70 people on the first page. And so Devin was on page 10 for what he was selling. So he worked with me. And again, my ranking only takes 8 days. So I got him to page 1 in about 8 days. And he started doing $24,000 a month. That's why if you know how to play Amazon, you know how the algorithm works, you know how to get your product to page 1, then the results are endless. And that's how I built a $50 million business. And that's how I scale people extremely quickly. And I'm going to show you one of my students who's now doing $500,000 a month. And she's doing $5 million a year. And it's insane. But we'll get into that in a little bit. So we already figured out all the best vehicles. And personally, my favorite one and the one that made me successful is private label. And so now the decision is, what vehicle are you going to take? So your product is 70% of your results. So a lot of people that go into this, they are kind of throwing things at the wall to see if it sticks. And I go off of numbers. I go off of products that sell all year long. And we have software that tells us if a product is selling all year long. That's very important because I don't want to sell something that's seasonal. I don't want to sell something that does less than $10,000 a month, but also I don't want to sell something that does millions of dollars a month. And that's something we'll get into in a little bit. And it's something that a lot of people mess up on. They see a product does $5 million a month. They're like, I'm going to sell that. Not me. And you'll see why in a little bit. So here's the checklist that I run every single product through. The 5-point criteria we were talking about. So, proven steady demand. Number one, guys, we want to make sure that a product is selling all year long. We want to make sure it's not seasonal. And what do I consider seasonal? Christmas, Halloween, Easter. They have the holiday in there. And so those are selling all year round. And number two, sells between roughly the price point of $25 and $70. Okay, guys? I don't sell products under $30 because there's going to be fees involved. There's going to be fees involved, and we want to make sure that we have 35 to 55% margins after the fees. So I only sell products that are in between $30 and like $80. Very important. All right, guys. We want to make sure that it costs a fraction of that to manufacture. For instance, one of my students the other day, they got a quote for $21 per piece for a unit. I negotiated down to $9 per piece. And guys, that student that you saw that was doing $60,000 a month, she gets her product for $9 and she sells it on Amazon for $64.99. Those are incredible margins. Absolutely incredible. So that's very important. Okay. Very, very important. We want to make sure that we are at least getting those margins. So how to achieve page 1 results. All right, guys, we want to make sure that when we're achieving the page 1 results, that we have a number of how many sales we need to get in order to get to that page 1. And I'll show you. A lot of times we make sure that we have 30 sales to get to page 1. And we have software that'll tell us how many sales we need in 8 days to get to that first page. So that's very important because a lot of times if you pick something that's very saturated, you'll need 20,000 sales in 8 days. And that's just not going to work for us. And that's why we don't pick things that are doing millions of dollars a month. We stick in between a revenue sweet spot. And guys, it is also very important to check the review rating. And why relying only on the review count is misleading. Because a lot of times you can see 2 different products with almost the same ratings, but they'll be completely different. And a big thing I do, guys, this is huge. What do I do now with ChatGPT? I used to have to do this manually. Now with ChatGPT, you can give them an Amazon listing and you can say, give me the 3 biggest pain points that this product has. ChatGPT will spit out immediately the 3 biggest reasons why this product listing is getting negative reviews. So what do we do then? Well, we figure out how to fix that issue, and then we launch one under our own brand with that issue fixed. So when I'm doing my product research, Sometimes I look at products with only 3 stars. Why? Because there's obviously an issue with that product to only have 3 stars, to where I can go and fix that issue, come out with my own product, and then it'll already be successful because I have now fixed the issue upon a product that is already successful. So it's absolutely crazy. This is my student who is now doing $5 million a year. Savvy Outdoors. She started with me 2 years ago, guys. So she started with me. She wanted to create an outdoor brand. She hopped in my program, and she's like, Kyle, I like wine. And I was like, okay, well, I created my success off a backpack cooler. Why don't we create a wine cooler bag? So that's what we did. We created a wine cooler bag. We made insulated wine cups with it because Amazon tells you, they give you this frequently bought together section, which is people that are buying this wine cooler bag are also buying these insulated cups. So that gives us data. Why not we put the 2 and 2 together, brand it under our own, and then we'll be that person they can go to for one transaction instead of multiple different transactions. And so, guys, I changed this person's life. She is now doing $5 million a year. Why? Because she has 9 different products. And that's what I tell everybody to do, is rinse and repeat what I teach you, to then add another product to your store, to then build your brand. Tasha says, what's the software that shows the numbers? Well, I'm going to get into it, Tasha. I'm actually going to show you how it works live. So this one wine cooler bag, guys, $500,000 a month. Absolutely insane. She's now doing $5 million a year. That's what she brought in what she did last year in sales. And she sends me gift baskets every month thanking me that I changed her life. And it's incredible. And I love doing this. And this is why I went back into stopped being retired, because I love changing people's lives. And there's so much wrong information out there that I like showing people the right way of doing things. Yeah, guys, here's another case study. Priya. She does about $32,000 a month. But the thing is, she only has 7 reviews. A lot of people think, why am I going to go into a product if my competitor has 10,000 reviews? I don't care about that. She has 7 reviews and she's doing $32,000 a month, because it's not so much about the reviews. It's so much about where your product is being seen. And so she's now doing $32,000 a month with one product because she's being seen when she needs to be seen on page 1. Now let's see what this actually looks like. And here is where I'm going to demonstrate with you guys. And I'm going to show you how the software works. And we're going to basically do this together. First, though, guys, I want to make sure that you guys know that I'm doing this live. And so I want you guys to come in here and tell me a category you want me to look into. I can use my software and my criteria in any category. So start spitting out some subjects. Do you want me to look into fishing niche, outdoors niche, the cooking niche? Give me a couple examples in the chat of what you want me to look at, and then I will do it in here live, real time, and I will make sure that I show you how the software works, how my criteria works, and we're going to find a successful product together. So come in here, and guys, a lot of times you guys are giving me actual products. I don't want to look at actual products. I want to look at categories. So the baby category is one. Fitness category is one. Pets, absolutely. Okay, guys, so I'm going to hop in here. And then I am going, a lot of people picking beauty, pets. Okay, I see one person that picked fishing. I like it. So guys, I like to start usually picking things that I'm interested in. I'm going to go in and type in fishing supplies. Okay, I'm going to flip on our software, and I'm going to make sure that we are seeing what revenue these products are doing. And guys, this is very, very important, because one of the things on my criteria is I want to make sure the product is doing at least $10,000 a month, at least $10,000 a month. But I want to make sure it's not going over $200,000 a month. That's very important. Why do I want to make sure it's not going over $200,000 a month? Because I want to make sure it's not saturated. I want to make sure that I can have about 10 to 50 sales to get to that first page instead of 10,000 to 50,000 sales. Okay, guys? That's very important. So I'm going to flip on our software here, the extension. And then once it loads, you guys are going to be probably in awe. You're going to see what products here are doing, what monthly revenue. And then we're going to find one that I would consider selling. And I'm very excited to show you guys this. This is very important with what we're doing on our research. Because again, we want to make sure a product is doing minimum $10,000 a month. But again, we want to make sure it's not going over $200,000 a month. Very important. So we're going to wait for this to load. And then, guys, remember the criteria. We want to find a product that's over $30, but not over $80. So what am I looking for then? One, a product that does over $10,000 a month, but not over $200,000 a month. And then two, a product that's over the $30 price point. And also something that's kind of interesting to me. Something that I'm not seeing in, your most physical stores, I like to call are the best private label products. Products where I got to go and do an Amazon search in order to find it. I don't like selling commodity items. I don't like selling, things that you're going to find in your local Target or whatever. Those aren't the best private label products. And then, so let's say once this loads, I find a product that is interesting, doing in between the revenue we want and around the price point we want. What do we do next? Well, then we start going through the negative reviews. Then we can either flip on chat and say, hey, chat, give me the 3 biggest pain points this product is having. Chat will spit us out instantly the 3 biggest pain points this product is having. And then I go find a manufacturer to make it pennies on the dollar, but I say, I want you to fix this, this, and this on my product because I can see my competitors are having those issues. And then before you know it, we are coming out with our own branded product that we already know is making and selling all year long. And that is also, better than the ones already out there. So guys, look at over here. Total revenue, $9 million a month in the fishing supplies keyword. All right, guys. So over here, I'm looking at the parent level revenue. Why? Because we have to look at this like a parent. So this is the whole listing itself. This is the revenue that each listing is making. And so I want to find a product that is over the $30 price point, and B, one that's sticking in between our revenue sweet spot. And also something that's kind of interesting to us. Remember, we want to make sure we're finding something that is not in most physical stores. Found one. All right. What I think is interesting to me on this page of fishing supplies, what is also over the $30 price point? So here's something right here, fishing pole holder. So that's over the $30 price point. So that's good. That's kind of interesting, fishing pole holder, but let's keep searching. The next thing we want to do is we want to do a main keyword search. So, okay, this is kind of interesting too. A fishing backpack. So now I'm going to do a main keyword search under fishing backpack to make sure that all of the competitors selling their own fishing backpack are staying in that revenue sweet spot. If they're staying in the revenue sweet spot, meaning they're not going over, $200,000 per month, then we have found a product that we could A, consider creating a brand around our own, or B, one that's over and making the revenue that we want. Dan, did you say stay away from electronics? Yes, I always stay away from electronics. Why? Because they have such a high return rate. I like to sell dummy products to make sure that we are staying in that revenue sweet spot. And guys, if we are, then fantastic. What would I do next to figure out how we make a better fishing backpack than what's out there? Well, I'll go through the successful sellers and I'll download their negative reviews. Guys, I created a big brand around something that was already out there. Coleman had a product, Yeti had a product, but what did I do? I downloaded the negative reviews of those successful products and I launched my own and I fixed the problems that those big companies were having. So I created a very large brand, and in 2023, I exited that because one of those large brands out there saw me taking most of their market share, and so they wanted to buy my business. So I sold it, and that's why I've been teaching people ever since. And I ran that business for 8 years. And now I enjoy building other people's brands and showing them how to successfully do it on Amazon. If it fits that criteria, guys, then this is one I would possibly consider selling. But if it doesn't make that criteria, then what do? Well, we just go back into the drawing board. We search something that we're interested in, and we find the main keyword of that product. So fishing backpack was the main keyword. You can always find the main keyword in the product title. And then, guys, you do a main keyword search to get everybody on the first page that's selling the same product. And then you make sure that they are sticking in between that revenue sweet spot. Okay, so that's very important. And if they're not sticking in between that revenue sweet spot, then we just go and we search for another one. Because, guys, why are we sticking in between that sweet spot? So that we only need minimal sales, like 30 to 50, to get to page 1 of fishing backpack. And if fishing backpack is extremely saturated, then you're probably going to need thousands of sales to get to page 1. And we don't want to do that because it's going to take too long to compete with the big guys. So let's go over here to parent level revenue. Okay, so one has 275K, but that's not too much over our sweet spot. And if it stays under 300K, I would consider selling this. I would start figuring out what I can do next to make mine better. So, guys, fishing backpack, it's actually solid. This is one I would consider selling. What would I do next? I would click on the successful sellers and I would download their negative reviews. And then I would figure out how to make mine better. So, guys, I hope you guys liked that. And we're going to continue giving you guys, some good stuff. We already dropped a category in there. We found a product. So would I let a student sell that fishing backpack? Absolutely. I 100% would, because it was sticking in between our revenue sweet spot. And then I go and figure out how to make that product better. So I download the negative reviews. And so what did we do? We picked a product to make sure that it was selling all year round. We picked a product that was over $30 price point to make sure that we still have our margins. It's always going to cost a fraction to make because overseas they make it pennies on the dollar. And we want to make sure the page 1 results are, something that we could achieve. And so finding a product that does in that revenue sweet spot, that means that we can get to the first page with around 30 to 50 sales. And that's not hard to achieve at all. So, guys, moving on. That's how you successfully find a product in 2026. The checklist that tells you what to sell. But this is how it gets built. So it takes around 90 days to see a product go live on Amazon. First, we got to validate the product. Then we have to source the product. Then we launch the product. Then we rank it. Then we rinse and repeat. My student that's doing $5 million a year, she now has 9 different products. And that's why she's doing what she's doing every single month. So that's what I tell everybody to do. So firstly, let's say we're moving forward with the fishing backpack. I would contact 30 manufacturers. I would then ask them for a professional product catalog. What's a professional product catalog? One that you can see is clearly done by like a graphic designer. It shows their company. It shows their values. It shows how many employees work there. That's professional. If you get one that's just a Excel file with the price next to it, I don't consider that professional. I move on to the next. And then what do? Well, we order 5 samples of our customized product. So once we put the fishing backpack in ChatGPT and we say, give us the 5 biggest pain points this product has, then I go and tell the manufacturer, I want you to make me this fishing backpack, but fix these 5 issues. And I need 5 samples from 5 different manufacturers to then test the quality. Because Amazon students or Amazon customers will tell you if you got a crappy product. That's just how it is. So we test 5 different manufacturers. We find the best one, and then we move forward. And that's just simple sourcing. So launch, very important. You can have the best product, but if you're on page 2 or 20, nobody's going to find you. Nobody at all. And guys, I've seen so many people be subjected to that. They have a great product, but they're on page 20. And if you're going to buy your first fishing backpack, you're only going to buy what's on the first page. So do you want to be on page 1 or page 5? Page 1. Here's the difference between results. $10 million being on page 1, very little sales if you're on page 5 or even page 2, which is really sad. But there's a method to get your product to page 1, and that's a method I've mastered over the years. So, top 3 factors that determine page 1 eligibility: ranking keywords. So how do you rank products to the first page? Sales velocity. So guys, I have a Facebook group I launch all my products through. So I'm not throwing money at advertising to see if it sticks. I'm giving out free products so I know my page 1 will stick. And then software. We got to make sure the product is selling all year round. We got to make sure the product is staying in between that sweet spot. So it's very, very important. What's a keyword? Well, fishing backpack is a keyword. So we got to make sure we get to the first page of fishing backpack, because that fishing backpack keyword had 70,000 searches a month. 70,000. So if you get your product to the first page to get searched 70,000 times, you're going to see a decent amount of sales. And so, guys, you don't just rank a product one keyword at a time. In order to scale, for instance, when I built my $50 million business, I was on the first page to over 50 to 100 keywords. So you don't need to, throw more money into a company or a product. You just need to get that product to another first page keyword, and you'll see your sales drastically change. It's powerful stuff. Super powerful. So, and then you expand. Like my student here did. She's doing $5 million a year because she has 9 different products. And so that's what I tell everybody: rinse and repeat the process. So 90-day launch. So 3 months and you'll have a product from just a thought to a fully functioning business. It's incredible. And Amazon stores it for you, ships it for you, packages it for you, brings in the traffic if you know how to utilize it. So it's a beautiful business model. You can be at your job, you could be working your full-time job, and we're still getting paid, and we're still checking our seller app to make sure that things are running smoothly, and things are usually running smoothly. So that's why nobody's got to quit their job. I usually tell people to, have your full-time, start this on the side. I've had over 50 people leave their 9-to-5 by doing this full-time, but I'd say make sure that your product or your, business is fulfilling your 9-to-5 before you quit that. So what happens if you pick the wrong product? Well, you waste your time, you waste your money, and you got inventory that doesn't sell. So you now know more about this than most people that are just going to get started. And that's fantastic. And guys, I've been doing this for 16 years. So you guys already know the 5 criteria and the 4 numbers behind them. You guys already know what to send a manufacturer and to get in writing. And you know how ranking actually works for your product. Very important. So guys, I'm going to be starting questions soon. I'm going to be starting, questions and answers soon. Stick with me. We're almost done. We're almost through it. And if you stick with me, I'm going to answer all your questions. You're going to get the guide. You're going to get the winning product criteria checklist. And yeah, let me know in the chat if this is starting to make sense of how Amazon is starting to work, why people get to page 1 that see amazing results, and why people page 2 through 20 don't see results. Yes. I love it, guys. Fantastic. All right, let me show you what happens when you implement this process. James, one product, no experience. He was a blue collar guy. We found a product in the blue collar niche because that's what he knows. And I say, let's go off of what you know, because I know Amazon. I'll show you how to get that product to page 1. But you use what you know, and you tell me the pain points of a product that you might be using every single day. And so he knew that, and he nailed that. We told the manufacturer, fix this because these ones out there suck. And then here's Laz. This is my buddy from UK, and he is absolutely crushing it. This guy's doing 60 grand a month with one product. He is in the outdoor space. He's selling these solar lights that we came up with, and they're very aesthetically pleasing. They go great for the outside backyards, things like that. He's doing 60 grand a month selling these lights. And guys, I got over 200 students that we've rinsed and repeated the same exact product. Or there's two different ways to go about it. You can try it on your own, or you can follow somebody that's done this over 200 times, time and time again. And I don't switch up my blueprint, guys. I use the same one. Patrick, sounds easier than it is, I'm sure. The manufacturing part sounds the hardest, finding a good quality product and solid manufacturer. Well, guess what, Patrick? I do that with you over your shoulder. I negotiate the products with you. I get the samples with you. Just the other day, like I said, I had a manufacturer quote my student $21 a piece. I negotiated down to $9 a piece. But manufacturing is the biggest problem. And so, that's why it's great to be guided with somebody that has been gone through this so many times. So I was honest throughout this entire presentation. Only share stuff you can Google. Verify me yourself. All you guys can check this out. All right, guys, very excited. If you guys want to work with me, I do have about 5 spots left. I think in here it's going to say 10, but I only have 5 left. But I'm going to do the product research with you, show you how to find a winning product. I'm going to find the manufacturer with you. My team is going to then build your whole entire listing for you. And then once the listing is built for you, I'm going to show you how to get it to page 1. And I hold your hand through everything. We rank to our products on the first page in the first month. So I have some students that are doing $50,000 a month their first month selling. Why? Because ranking only takes 8 days. So the stuff is powerful if you know how to use it. Melissa, how do you pay the manufacturer to produce the product? Great question. Well, I'm going to be showing you that, but usually we have them, another great question. How long for my help? I'll get into that. So usually we pay through PayPal. We pay sample fees to get our samples for them to create and produce. And then once we know which manufacturer we're going to go with, I negotiate on your behalf. And to make sure you don't get in trouble or you don't get screwed over, we only pay a 20% deposit for them to create our entire order. And then once they're ready, then once we go over there and we have a company go and test our units, if it passes the test, then we pay them the rest, and that's how to protect us. So guys, you also get weekly one-on-one calls with me every single week to make sure your business is moving how it should be moving. And that's extremely important. And also it's lifetime. So whoever just said how long for your help, you're in it for life. So that lady that's doing $5 million a year, she got in 2 years ago, and I've been helping her scale ever since. So that's why she's doing $5 million a year, because she's still scheduling her weekly calls. So it's amazing. And I've been doing this time and time again. And what does Amazon's approval process allow you to list? I get anything approved. So I have a team that gets your products and brands approved for you. There's a step to that, but my team takes care of it all, and you get ungated and everything. So guys, you're not going to pick a product that fails. You're not going to pick a manufacturer that screws you over. You're going to get a whole listing built for you on Amazon, and it's extremely powerful. People see 5 figures a month their first month selling. So guys, well, what does this entail? It's absolutely jaw-dropping what Amazon has done in my life. But if you guys are ready and you guys want to, make yourself in a better position. If you want to apply for a call in the next 30 minutes, then you'll get a whole bunch of free stuff. But a lot of people are saying, do we need to file patents? No, you do not. I don't sell products that need patents. I've patented a product before, but no, the ranking is just so powerful. And we're not coming out with a product that is absolutely new. We're coming out with a product that sells all year round. We're just fixing the issue. Do I need to register an LLC? We do that with you. Yes, it's smart to create an LLC just to protect you, but you don't need one to sell on Amazon. You don't. So it says I'm looking for 10 people, but I actually did this a couple weeks ago, and I'm only taking on 5 more people. So I want to create 5 more businesses with people that want to scale to at least $10,000 a month, at least. So as you can see, most of my students do way more than that, absolutely way more than that. You'll work with me one-on-one. I'll build your entire brand with you. It's a lifetime mentorship. So how much is my mentorship? Well, it's usually $12,000, but it's going to be $10,000 for the 5 people that hop in with me. And so it's a $10,000 investment. But you know, I am very, very helpful with things. I do have funding. I also, if you only have half payment, I can talk to you about taking half the payment and, you know, work something out, you know, with you guys. And I am only taking the 5 people because I did one of these 2 weeks ago and I already found some people to create a business with. So guys, if you guys, this is lifetime, guys. Thank you, Dan. This is lifetime mentorship forever. The lady that's doing $5 million a year, she bought in 2 years ago. And for 2 years to be doing 7 figures is fucking phenomenal. And guys, I've done it a bunch of times. So guys, if you want to, how long have you been doing this, Tasha? Sir, how long have I been doing this? 16 years, since 2010. 2010, a long time. My business model is the longest business model on Amazon. Amazon loves my business model because it takes up 60% of their revenue. So, guys, my calendar link is inside the chat. Who wants to schedule a call with me? Cabby right there is posting my calendar link. Schedule a call with me. Let's see where you're at. But here's where I will be taking your guys' questions. But click the link in the chat if you want to schedule a call. I'm going to be available this weekend. I'm going to be available, you know, if you guys have 9 to 5s, then I'm available after that. Only taking on 5 people. I know it says 10, but I'm only taking on 5 because I did a webinar 2 weeks ago and I already found 5 people. And I only take on 10 people to ensure everybody's success, guys. That's huge. And I'm not fucking around. I only take on 10 people because there's only so much of me to go around. And I still enjoy my freedom, don't get me wrong. And so I don't want to stretch myself too thin. So I want to build 10 businesses with you guys. And that's why I'm only taking on the number of people that I'm taking on. Dan, booking a call right now. Absolutely love it. Fantastic. I hope we can build your next brand with you. But guys, this is, if I can't jump in today, how long until spots open back up usually? Patrick, schedule a call. Let's talk about it. Like I said, I am pretty, you know, I work with people. If you only have, you know, half going on, I can take half and then we can start, build your business and talk about, you know, rest of the payment later. The software link you promised, will you give us that? Yes, I will. I will send it to Cav right now so that you guys can get the software link and he will post it on here. There's a 20% discount. And also, let's answer some more questions, guys. So we got a lot of people here. It doesn't take very long. Melissa, great. Fantastic. So the software link is going to get posted in here. 3 steps, takes about 2 minutes. Click the link in the chat, pick a time, fill out a small, you know, application. Lance, can we build a brand together? We are going to build a brand together. I'm going to, if you hop in and, you know, you get in my program, I'm going to build it with you start to finish. Product selection, manufacturer selection, getting your listing built, getting your product photography, getting you to page 1. I didn't build my student a $5 million a year business from not doing everything over her shoulder. So I am going to be doing everything with you over your shoulder. And that's the power of this. I am building your brand with you. So, you know, it's absolutely jaw-dropping. Your life could change in 90 days. Anybody that says anything quicker, probably full of shit. I've done it multiple times with a bunch of people in 90 days. Why does it take 90 days? Well, the manufacturing and shipping usually takes 60. During that time, we're getting your listing together and all that stuff. Not including your course. Well, Robert, I am not happy you said course because this is not a course. This is far from a course. This is a one-on-one live me building your entire business with you. Cameron, what makes a successful student versus unsuccessful student? Well, you learning. I've had people work with me in the past and they do not do what I tell them to do, and I don't like to work with those people. If you're not going to follow my expertise that I've been doing for 16 years, then I don't want to work with you. And I actually had somebody that went through my program and she decided to take this extra shortcut and it screwed her over. And I said, I told you so, unfortunately. And guys, no question is a bad question. I am available to you 24/7 when you're in my program. You download an app, you have 24/7 access to me. And then inside there, you also have my calendar, which you schedule your weekly calls on. And on our first call, we find your product. And, what will this call actually look like? Well, we'll look at where you at. And we'll see, what capital you're working with. We'll talk about products and, what makes sense to your situation. Rookie, you must have joined in a little bit late. So it costs 10 grand to get started but it's lifetime. You're in with me forever. And I build your entire business with you. And so, the lady that bought in with me 2 years ago is now doing $5 million a year. I also have over 200 people doing, 6-7 figures a month. Or not a month, a year. So let me answer what you're already thinking. Yes, 10 grand is a lot of money, but compare it to you spending 10 grand on a product that doesn't work. Compare it to you, trying to do this on your own and then you never even getting approved on Amazon. There's a whole process you go. How much partnership do you take? Great question. I take 0 partnership, 0. So the business is 100% yours. Tasha, since 15 years old, yes, I got my job at a company doing $20 million a year on Amazon at 15 years old. I worked for them from 15 to 20, and I started my own brand after 20, after working for them for 5 years. And then I built a very large 8-figure brand, and I sold it 3 years ago. How much to get the products? It depends. It depends on every product, but it also I fit between your budget. The cost includes everything. The cost includes my lifetime mentorship. You're also going to need a couple grand for your first batch of inventory. So 2 to 5K, I can work, with whatever your budget is. Guys, this stuff is incredible. If you think you can figure it out yourself, I've had a lot of people do that and then come to me later and they've already spent a good chunk of their stuff picking the wrong product, picking the wrong manufacturer, not going through due diligence, not even getting approved on Amazon, but having their product nowhere to send to. There's a science to this, guys, and it's a science that I've mastered over the years. I've built many brands and I'm still doing it to this day. So, guys, it only takes 3 hours of work a week. You can do that on any full-time job. You and I meet. Is it possible to do sensory math for autism kids? My son has autism. Absolutely. I actually have a student who's doing $40,000 per month selling a sensory toy because her daughter has autism. Absolutely, man. And that's what we go and we create a brand around what you're interested in. And that's what we're going to go over on our first call, your interests. Why? Because I want to create something that you're excited about. And when you get something in your hand with your logo on it and a customized product that we kind of created, it gets really exciting to see it come to life. So absolutely, sensory is actually a great thing to get into. I got somebody doing $40,000 a month selling a sensory product, and it's great. Whitney, does that include PPC costs? Whitney, great question. My ranking doesn't consider PPC. So I'm not throwing money at PPC to see if it sticks. I'm ranking my products through my own group without PPC, so I know it sticks. So I get to the first page in 8 days, no problem, not hoping I'll get the PPC sales. So organic ranking is way more important than pay-per-click sponsored ranking. And that's how people lose out a lot of money. Let me know in the chat if you guys can book. I want to verify on my end to make sure that the link is working. Who booked a call? Cabby, throw the link in there again. Let's get it. Everybody, Stan, fantastic. I love it. I can't wait to talk to you. And guys, it's amazing. Amazon's not saturated. 60% of Amazon's revenue come from small business owners, and that's why Amazon loves us. They call us third-party sellers because it's 60% of Amazon's revenue, and that's absolutely huge. Whitney, I've already launched, but could use some help to push my listing further. Well, it sounds like you've already launched if you've already talked about PPC. And you know what you need to do? You need to launch and rank organically. You need to get your product to page 1 organically. Because if you don't, you're going to be subjected to, you're going to be subjected to PPC costs, and those costs can get very expensive. And so if you rank organically and you're already sitting there organically, you're already going to get the organic traffic. All right, guys. So you can keep researching which business works, or you can build the one you want to get on your own. And all you got to do, guys, is book a call, and then we can figure out if this is something that works for you. Dan, is there a way to split up the investment? Yes. Well, I'm going to need, something down to show me that you're serious. But like I said, I have worked with tons of people in the past to get them started. And if you seem like somebody that is, eager to learn and somebody who will listen, then we can work on something. Because I want to only work with dedicated individuals. I want to only work with people that are going to listen to me and implement what I know. Because if you're not going to implement what I know, then why are we working together? And if you are just a sponge of information working with me, you're going to crush it. You're going to absolutely crush it. You're going to do well. And that's the people I want to work with. So guys, questions, answers, the software link is right there. Cabby sent it. And 90 days, you will have a whole entire business. What's the most one of your students have made? So the testimonial I sent you, Sarah, she's doing $5 million a year. She's been doing that for 2 years now. So she's my biggest student. However, I've done way more than that, obviously. Jandra, do you sell in Walmart and other stores? Yes, I do. And I'm not going to just get your product on Amazon. I'm going to get it on Walmart, TikTok Shop, Etsy, all that. I have a student selling a golf product doing $100K a month on Etsy. I'm not a one-trick pony. I put my product everywhere, but Amazon is our bread and butter. And Amazon is usually our gateway. But yes, I'm no one-trick pony. I'm going to put our products on everything under the sun, because the more eyes on your product, the more successful your product's going to be. So why not? And also Walmart's starting to take off. I'm doing 6 figures a month on Walmart. So yeah, Walmart's fantastic. Oh, do I need my own website? Great question. You do not need your own website. I usually tell everybody that Amazon is our website. So a lot of people that have websites, they got to drive traffic towards it. We don't need to drive traffic towards our website because Amazon is the traffic. Dan, I heard something of your Instagram about you have financing for $500 a month. Is that right? So for some people, yes. For some people that qualify, it is right. PayPal later is a little weird, and so it works for some people. Works for it's weird who it picks and chooses. So we can check it out on our call and hopefully get you inside. But yeah, for some people, I do have that option available. We'll just need to check it out together. But yeah, guys, thanks for giving me the hour. Whether you apply or not, now you know more than most people know on how to sell on Amazon, even people that are live on Amazon. So a lot of people that are already selling on Amazon, you know a lot more than they do, because they probably don't even know where their product lies in the ranking. And that's huge. So guys, any more questions? Let me know. Looks like we still got some people on here live. Does anybody want to continue answering or asking me questions? If not, then I am going to head out. But the calendar is there. I'm taking on 5 more individuals, and I would love to build your business with you. The people that I've already scheduled, super stoked to talk to you soon. And again, if you're going to hop in for sure, start thinking about what brand you want to create. Do you want to create a baby brand? Do you want to create a fitness brand? Do you want to create an outdoor brand? Do you want to create a cooking brand? There's so many things that we can use in the criteria that we can, create a successful business around. And I like to go off of what you're interested in. So guys, all right. It sounds like we got calls scheduled. I love it. I'm going to leave the calendar here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you guys for giving me your time, and we will talk shortly. I'm going to hop off now, But chat soon, guys.